So hello, it's been a while since I last recorded anything, and I promised I will record a little bit more often. So hereby I make a promise of me trying to record a new voiceover a video every Wednesday, because then I can do it, because I have a little bit more time on Wednesdays. And a lot of people asked me like, man, how do you paint all those like 3D statues? How do you color them? What is the process for rendering that you achieve this and that result? And let me tell you a secret, but make sure to really focus on the secret. Absolutely nobody asked me that, but I have a lot of those recordings and I will post them, and I will like do a voiceover with some other topic on top of them, and they are just going in the background. Also feel free to mute me completely and just like enjoy the show, maybe slap me on the second screen, paint alongside of me or whatever, and also you have a glimpse or how I do color the 3D models if you're actually interested in it. Not every step is included in every recording, and I will make a separate video on how to start coloring 3D models, because it's kinda fun, and because I have colored like a lot of different 3D models. I believe I have like a relatively simple pipeline to follow that allows me to color everything a little bit quicker and more consistently. So yeah, that's for that. But I asked for your questions in my Discord server, and I got a staggering like 4 or 5 answers in total. So I will be picking from those options, and the first question that makes sense is the second question. The first question was how to deal with contract work, spotting good and bad clients, mindset trap, etc. But I don't feel like talking about work. About clients and money and contracts or whatever. But the other question was a little bit closer to how I feel right now. So how do you develop your own voice and stop being a copy of your favorite artist? LOL. So yeah, this is, I would say, a quite good question, because a lot of people struggle with their own style in their painting. And more often than not, like extremely more often than not, if you are working on something, you are very often be asked, if you are working professionally, to do something like this other guy that we won't hire because he is too expensive, so we got you, but let's try to paint this way like this guy does or whatever. And it's fucking madness to like ask this question. Like, if you hire someone, hire them for what they do, and don't ask them to like do something like somebody else does. So it's kind of weird. But about your own voice, this is kind of funny, because I believe a lot of people at some point will have their own voice, but it comes with time. So to develop this voice, let's say to develop your own style, you basically need to do a lot of work, do a lot of paid work, do a lot of work that you don't want to do, fix a lot of feedbacks, apply a lot of feedbacks, do a lot of feedbacks that you absolutely don't agree with, and try to paint something for yourself from time to time, and study and whatever, and experiment with brushes, and yeah, live your life pretty much, because everything that we do, that we paint pretty much, is the sum of our experiences. So if you have a guy who, I don't know, let's say lives in a dark ass area and everything is evil looking and it's dark and it's misty, foggy or whatever, most likely they will paint something like this because they know this topic very well. But if you have a person who is like living in a super colorful place and everything is in flowers and everything is happy and jumping and whatever, they will paint happy stuff because they know this stuff. It's a gross oversimplification, but the general rule of thumb is you will paint what you expose yourself to. So, or you will paint in a way that reflects your personal experiences, if it makes sense. So let's say in my case I like Diablo, Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Dark Fantasy or whatever metal music. So I usually lean into more, let's say, dark metal type of topics and dark fantasy, or yeah, basically this is my point of interest. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics for it. So the other thing will be to not push the development of your style or your voice, because it will lead you to nothing. Like, do the stuff that you like to do, especially in your personal like time. If you are making personal work, do the stuff that you enjoy doing. So don't force yourself to do stuff that is not interesting for you. So for example, in my case, I do enjoy stylized art or whatever, but I absolutely don't enjoy making it. So I won't practice it. I mean, I might try if I feel like it, but it's not something that I would like to spend, let's say, 2 years trying to make my portfolio just so I can do the thing that I don't really enjoy. So if I will work on my projects, I want to develop them in a way that I enjoy, with the topics that I enjoy. And the style kinda will come with time, because if you don't have experience, you kinda can't, or you don't know how to do certain stuff the way you like to do them. So you can't say you have developed a style if you don't know how to achieve certain results in your own way. So for example, in this painting that I'm doing right now, if we would give this 3D model to like 20 different people, we will get 20 vastly different results with absolutely different color schemes and color palettes. Some will look better, some will look like worse. That's normal. But the thing is, it will reflect the thing that we can do. So after painting for a longer period of time, at some point you will discover that, oh, I like painting using these brushes, and these brushes give me a certain texture or certain feeling when I paint, or certain brush stroke or whatever. And I really enjoy this brush and this brush stroke, or this general type of things that this brush or this tool does. So yeah, I will stick to it. And let's say this is the most basic type of a thing. You enjoy working with these tools, and those tools will visually reflect some sort of a quality in the works that you are doing. Then of course you will also have some colors and some preferences to the hues and contrasts or whatever. And this will also reflect heavily in your style. So if we go back to those 20 people, if we would all tell them, okay, the shark has to be like white and bluish, grayish, and have red silver armor, and the rider is like blue and yellow, a lot of the artists, I believe, would choose a very different hues of those things, because some people just naturally, they will like more saturated blue, they will like more like desaturated red, someone will like very chemical looking greens and or yellows, and someone will not. And this will add another layer to the thing that you are doing, that you are trying to develop in your own works. And then let's say we have, I don't know, second layer. So we have a brush stroke, then colors. Of course, yeah, that was hard to say. Of course, all the contrasts or whatever, and how you like to paint also matters, how you like to place your lights. Some people will really like overcast light, some people will like, I don't know, very dramatic type of a light with a lot of rim lights or whatever, and it very often shows in their portfolio that all they do is pretty much a singular light scenario, and that's completely fine. If they are working on something for them, like for their portfolio, to show their voice, they will do stuff their way, the way they like. So it's natural that if they like this set of things, this certain setup of everything, pretty much every single artwork will be done in a sense in the same way. And I believe one of the stronger styles that is very easily recognizable is Ruangia. I spent some time I spent a lot of time looking at his videos and at his paintings and whatever, and after looking at them for a elongated period of time, I would say it's very, not only from the amazing quality, but it's very easy to see that he does a lot of the things in exactly the same way. Like, he approaches painting everything exactly the same. He takes exactly the same steps. He makes usually the same fixes to everything if he is improving something or changing something. And the way he is working is pretty much always the same. It's because he likes working this way. So yeah, and it comes with experience. He has done it like thousands of times, so it got easy for him. He knows how to do it, how to approach it, how to go through the stages that he always takes, and now he has his own style. And yeah, that's pretty much all. And I don't know if I answered the question or if I added or gave you more questions to follow. So let me know also in the comments. If you have any questions whatsoever, also feel free to ask them in the comments, or don't. And feel free to discuss the topic with me. Like, I'm open for discussion. But yeah, if you were to develop a style, just like do your shit, and that's pretty much all. Even if you would copy, because also there was a question about not being a copycat of another artist. This is kind of tricky, but let's say if I would study Ruangia and try to paint like him for, let's say, a year, then I will get something that will not look, that will remind you of Ruangia, but won't be Ruangia. But then I will get kind of bored with this style and I will, let's say, study someone else, let's say Raposa. And then I will mix those two styles if I would work on something personal for me. So then we get Ruan Raposa or Gia David Gia or whatever. And then you will mix another artist to it. Then you will mix stuff that you have seen somewhere. Then you will mix third and fourth and fifth artist. And at some point it will be pretty much impossible to recognize who you studied, who you learned from, like who was your influence. Of course, sometimes it will show more, sometimes it will show less. So yeah, and also while painting you will notice that you like scribbling with a small brush, and it gives this and that result, and it will be visible throughout your works. And here you go, there is your style. So yeah, it develops. It will constantly change. It will develop. Even details like framing and camera or field of view that you like, the angles that you prefer. Maybe you prefer something usually to be seen from down below. Maybe you like very highly placed cameras. This is like a very hard question to answer, because pretty much everything that you do, everything that you expose yourself to, influences the style that you has. And sometimes also to not be a copycat of the artist that you like is just to be kind of open-minded. So let's say you have to paint a dragon. Let's say this and that artist that you like absolutely never painted a dragon. So now you can't copy them. You can't influence yourself with how they approach dragons. So you find another artist who works on dragons, and you influence yourself by this artist. Then you influence yourself by that artist. And yeah, and at some point you will have a plethora of artworks that basically look like you have done them. And I remember several times when someone told me that, oh, this looks like your painting, this looks like you have done it. And I was like, I have absolutely no idea why. I wouldn't say I have a certain style to the stuff that I do. The only thing that I enjoy is kind of more gritty and dark and evil and desaturated. But yeah, let's say for me, I wouldn't say I have a very recognizable style. But some people told me that they immediately know that I have painted something. So there is that. The answer is, this is the answer, I would say. Don't worry about being a copycat, or don't worry about developing your style. At some point it will come naturally to you. The more you do, the clearer, hard word, the clearer the style will be. So yeah, that's all, and stay tuned for the next episode of whatever. And yeah, see you next time. Have a good one. See ya.